Hello out there, and today we are taking a look at the most inexpensive knife I have ever purchased in my life, and it is right here. It is the Avalanche branded large folding pocket knife. It doesn't have a model number or a name, it's just a large folding pocket knife, and I picked this up not really because of what it is, but because of where I found it. Because I was in Ross, believe it or not. And Ross, I'm not sure if it's a national chain, but it is basically a discount department store. And I was there with my wife, just poking around, killing time, and I found a knife. Didn't even know they had any knives, and this one, as you can see, was $6.99. And so, more as a joke than anything else, I had to pick it up, right? Pick it up and prove what a piece of garbage it was going to be. And lo and behold, the joke is on me. Because if our main standard, our checklist for a knife is that it is able to cut stuff and it locks up safely and securely, then check, we're good to go. Because this knife came razor sharp out of the box, and yeah, lockup is great. And it's assisted opening, and it's snappy. So it works just fine, and it's very functional. And guys, this isn't going to be a video about how great the $6.99 knife is, because it's not great compared to just about every other knife that I have. But it's functional, and it's really helped me remember what my core values are when it comes to knife collecting. And we'll get back to that in just a second. One thing I want to do first, though, is bring out another knife that you might recognize that actually looks almost exactly like this Avalanche. And what we have here is the Kershaw Starter. All right, so really similar when it comes to blade shape, almost identical when it comes to the design on the frame. So both of these are made in China, and I'm not sure which one was made first or if it's by the same company, but certainly a good deal of resemblance there. And one other thing to note when it comes to the Avalanche is that this actual exact knife, with maybe a few minor alterations in, say, the cutout here on the blade, but the exact same knife is available with a number of different brands on it. So whatever company in China is producing this knife is probably selling it to a number of different brands so that they can have like a budget folding knife in their lineup. So Avalanche is just a very small outdoor company brand, and I'm guessing there are a number of other companies that, have this same exact knife. And a quick Google search will find a couple of them pretty easily, actually. So don't know how many of them are out there, but you might have this exact same knife with a different company's name on it, is the point there. All right, but getting back to what this knife is and what it needs to be, it really just brings into perspective what knife collecting and having a knife is all about. And it really makes me understand and remember that everybody who has knives isn't like me. A lot of people just carry a knife because they want to have a knife on them and they want to be able to cut something when they need to cut something. And they're not looking for pieces of, really exotic art the way, this is a almost functional piece of art, the Benchmade 484-1, which happens to be my most expensive knife that I own. And there are far more expensive knives than this one. And this is certainly a much better knife than the Avalanche. But at the end of the day, they both are designed in order to cut things. And one will do it better, and one will do it longer, and one will do it more efficiently over a long period of time. But for so many people out there, they're not really looking for that. And it reminds me of a story of a buddy of mine when I was in college was trying to sell a dryer. He was moving from one house to another, and the new house had a clothes dryer already, and so he was trying to sell his. And he was telling me and a group of other guys just about all the things you need to be careful of when it comes to his dryer. And don't worry, there is a point here. His dryer, he said, you couldn't overload it with a lot of clothes, and you couldn't use the low heat setting because it wouldn't work. And I interrupted him and I said, okay, so does it work or does it not work? Because you're trying to sell us this thing, but you're saying all the ways that it's like not very good. And he goes, yeah, it works just fine. It dries clothes. And he looked at me like I was an idiot. And, that line has sat with me. It dries clothes for so long because it's just a very, very simple approach and a way of looking at things that you don't need any bells and whistles. You don't need fancy carbon fiber. and blue accents and S90V powdered blade steel in order to break down cardboard. Do I want that stuff? Sure, I do. But for so many people out there, it's just not something that they value. Having a knife in your pocket for a lot of people is like having a screwdriver in your toolbox. It can be a really cheap, crappy screwdriver, and if the thing breaks or the metal wears or whatever it is, you just buy another cheap, crappy screwdriver. And that's sort of the case with knives for some people. And it's always good to remember that at the end of the day, this is a tool. And some people like to have really valuable, expensive tools that are nice, and some people just want something that's going to get the job done. And so this will. Just like that dryer, you'll have to maintain it more. You'll have to take care of the edge a whole lot better because it is a cheaper material, and you'll probably have to adjust the pivot because this will loosen up. And, this might just fail on you and rust on you or who knows what over time. But then you'll be able to buy another $7 knife and just move on with your life. And maybe, if you use this knife a couple times and it dulls, you don't even try to sharpen it. You just buy another $7 knife. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's going to be good and it's going to be functional for a number of people. Do I prefer something like this? Sure. My tastes have definitely progressed since I started collecting knives. And they probably will continue to. I'll keep looking into new and exciting things in the knife community. And I like carrying something that's a little bit nicer. But for the box that I'm about to break down outside, do I need this? No. This is just fine. And it's always good to remember that. It's always good to remember that. And for me, at least, to not look down on knives like this or just other types of budget knives, because having any knife is better than not having one at all, right? So that's really all. Just wanted to share my take on that and the lesson that I was reminded when it comes to this knife. So really appreciate having that. And I'll definitely keep this one and have it around the house because an extra blade is always a good thing. And I'd love to hear your take on this subject matter, how you feel about really inexpensive knives or what type of knife you really value and the kind of thing that you personally are looking for in a knife. So let me know down below. And any other questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, down below is where to reach me. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will talk with you soon. Thanks for watching, and take care.